Hey everybody, I just wanted to do a quick updated video on how I'm sharpening pencils these days. So normally when I am shading or modeling, I tend to like having a pretty long point and very sharp, and longer and sharper than you'll get from most sort of electric pencil sharpeners. Um, so I usually sort of do it by hand. It's a little slower, but I get the point that I want. And now I'm also sort of pragmatically lazy, so I try and find the fastest way to get to the point that I want. Um, so normally you do this in two steps, where you expose the graphite by just shaving off the wood. And normally you would do that with a blade, like an X-Acto knife or utility knife or something like that. And then you would come in and actually sort of get the point with the sandpaper like this. So what I've been doing is using sort of a hacked pencil sharpener to shave off the wood. And the way that I do that is, this is one that is sold a couple different brands. It's actually a two-step sharpener, where normally what you do is you do this side first and it just takes the wood off. And then once you have the wood off, you put it over here to sharpen it. Now, normally what happens is, as you're sharpening, or as you're taking the wood off, when you get to this end, the pencil sort of can't go any further, and that's your sign it's time to switch over to use this side, right, and sharpen just the lead. But what I did is I took a utility knife and I just shaved out the part of this side of the sharpener, so that the graphite can just keep going, right? And you can just basically take off as much wood as you want. And I'll show you what that looks like quickly. So right about here, right before this, it would have been stopped by the side of the sharpener, but now I can actually just keep going like this, and I could go as long as I want and expose as much of this graphite as I wanted to. Now, I don't use this side. It doesn't really make the point that I want. It's still not sharp enough, and you can't really do this once it's this long. So I actually use a lead pointer to get the really sharp point. Ooh, let me show you quickly. Sometimes there's a little bit of wood left on the graphite, like it didn't line up exactly right. And I usually find I can take that off pretty easily with my thumbnail, right? So to get the actual point, to get a really nice point on this is sold by Mitsubishi. This one was my go-to for a long time, but actually got to a point where it was sort of breaking the lead, breaking the tip off of the point sort of more often than I wanted. But it made the really nice, super sharp points. So I may try and get another one of those. You can see, yeah, it snapped off a little bit over here at the end. So I've been using this one. I just found this on Amazon. They're relatively cheap. It's like you get 3 for $5 or something like that. Probably still way overpriced for what it is, but not too expensive. And you just turn it a few times and you get a pretty nice point this way. Now, if I want it sharper than this, which, as I'm modeling, a lot of times I want it really sharp, then I'll actually go in with the sandpaper and just, refine it just a little bit with the sandpaper till I get the exact point that I want. But 90% of the work is done with these, and it's much quicker. Oh, and one other thing I can show you, this one. This I took just a really cheap pencil sharpener. This is one of my kids, and I just unscrewed the blade, moved it back a little bit, and screwed it back in. So you could do this with plastic ones or wood if you can find a pencil sharpener. And this really does the same thing as the first step. If you get it in the right spot, it'll just take the wood off and not the graphite, and get a nice long piece of graphite exposed that way. So hope this helps.